watch Survivor, and when the show ends, you really want to talk about it with like-minded friends. It might be hard to find some, but don't you shed a tear. Check out the Purple Rock Podcast, and this is what you'll hear. John will make some dumb jokes, Andy likes to yell and curse, and if they're not available, the backup hosts are so much worse. Spend the whole time being jerks, telling you you're wrong, and so we got this other jerk to sing you our theme song. It's the Purple Rock Survivor Podcast.
Welcome to the Purple Rock Survivor Podcast. I am John. My co-host is Andy, and this week we are talking Survivor 47, Episode 2. We're going back to that well, Andy. We're not diving in head first this time, like Rome did last week. Instead, we're just going to kind of come to a stalemate and then just lazily give up. I think that's the approach that we're going to take for this week's podcast. Lazily giving up kind of fits our theme anyway. So let's talk about some of this episode. But before we do that, I did want to mention I shouted out the fan mail feature last week, which is where you can text our podcast. We cannot text you back, just to make that clear, because I think some people might have had the impression that we could. Don't expect a response in any format other than us talking to you in the podcast. We did have someone named Kurt ask us if we thought that John got voted out because he was too famous and would hog the screen time. What's your opinion on that, Andy?
I mean, it's possible, but I didn't get that impression. If it's anything, I think it might have been a little subconscious because, like, Sam definitely was like weary of John, and he coded it in game terms, like, "Oh, you could be dangerous." But like, I think if anybody would be worried about screen time and their share of it, Sam seems to be that type. So I'm not ruling it out. But the bigger question is, like, is he that famous that we should worry about it? I don't know.
Yeah. So that was my thought, is I would say no. I genuinely believe they had no idea who he is. Maybe Sam was tangentially aware of him. But also, like, I think, this is a wild guess here, but podcasters tend to overrate their own fame. His reach.
Hey, man, I was recognized in a mall.
You were. That's true. His reach would pale in comparison to Survivor's. So
Yes.
It's not remotely surprising that they wouldn't know who he is. I'm going to go with no as the answer to that question. But let's transition into talking about this episode and start with the question we ask every week. How did you like this one, Andy?
It's a tough one to say. I think it balances out as that was all right. That was solid. But I like the way it ended. I'm very happy with the result and how he got there. But I will say I did spend like a good portion of the episode kind of just being annoyed at everyone. So for a 90-minute experience, although less when fast forwarding, it probably balances out to it was all right. How about you?
Yep. Very mid. Just like a boilerplate standard following the template episode of Survivor. Definitely not something that I'm like, oh, I'm going to remember this forever. But also could have been worse. So it's an okay start to the season, but we've discussed many times, like, we don't need the preseason or the pre-merge, to just be like absolute gangbusters, because oftentimes that makes the season flame out in the post-merge, which is the more important part of the season. So I'm fine with this level of Survivor for where we're at.
In general, that's true. I'm starting to have a bit of concern for this season, and we'll get into it throughout. But, as a reaction to like why I'm not over the moon over this episode, even though, again, very much enjoying like the ending part of it. I don't know that anybody's really standing out in positive ways for me, and I'm not sure where that's going to come from. There's still plenty of time. I don't want to get too bogged down on it, but that is kind of a feeling I've come out after 2 episodes and be like, I guess it's just going to be a little bit of kind of Survivor then, I like Survivor, so just a little Survivor is probably okay, but I'm not seeing it yet out of kind of almost anything.
Yeah, I think we've discussed many times how the cast makes or breaks the season. And I mean, we'll end up discussing it later. But whether this cast can carry a good season, I don't think we've seen those signs yet.
Yeah.
Right. So instead, let's talk about the outcome of the episode. You did say that you enjoyed the end of the episode. The big decision to be made in this episode was by Tiyana and whether or not she would choose to vote out TK, which she, of course, did. Did you like that decision for her?
Yeah, I think it was the right call based on the information she was given. Like, I don't think it's a great decision. Like, I don't know that she's in a great spot as a result of it. But I think when somebody's telling you who they are, believe them, I believe is the phrase, right? And just like the first test that things are put to there, suddenly TK is just, barking at everybody. I do believe he wasn't actually targeting her. But that's because I don't believe he has any social awareness at all. And he comes out of that like, I'm going to have to now, this is the way it's going to be. I'm going to tell everybody how to do it. And you see that, and it's like, that's not the boat to tie your something to. I lost the metaphor.
Yeah,
there.
You really did.
I mean, he would be the anchor that she would tie the ship to.
Sure.
What is the phrase? Something about tying your boat to something or other. But anyway, I think TK proved from the challenge on that he's not the alliance partner you want. So like she comes out of this, I think, with no alliance partners, and that's tough. But there's time. There's time to fix that. I think it'd be worse to tie yourself to a bad alliance partner. What do you think?
First of all, I think you came to the right place if you want correction on a nautical reference, because, as a Floridian, I'm a big boat guy. No, I am absolutely not. Boat guys in general are a very certain type of person that I am definitely not. They tend to fly flags that I don't support. Mm-hmm. So I don't really remember off the top of my head. I do know the boat reference, but I can't recall it at this exact moment. I think there was some criticism of Tiyana and how she played, at least from some skimming of our comments, in that she could have tied it and then flipped after the tie. I don't know that gains you much.
Well, the other thing is she doesn't know that there was going to be a tie without her.
Right.
She does not know that Gabe is voting for TK. She thinks she is tying it by voting for TK.
I think, in theory, she had talked about wanting to not be the number 4 of a group. I don't know that she knows that she will be after this. That's never made clear to us that she would have that suspicion. And Gabe is very clear about wanting to keep his alliance of 3 relatively secret. So, I mean, I think she does want to continue working with Kyle after this. I don't think that's doing this has necessarily ruled that out, because what else is Kyle going to do? Like, where is he going to turn now, right? Like, he doesn't have a whole lot of options. It's a 5-person tribe now. And I think regardless, TK is who he is. So if he's the right partner for her long term, I don't know. I would guess probably not. He seemed like he might have been difficult for her to work with, even though she claimed that she can work with these people regardless, who are, on their coach tip, as he described himself. Yeah, I'm with you in that. I think ultimately she made the right decision. Don't stick with him.
Yeah, and then there's the concern that like voting out a physically strong person like TK is going to hurt, and possibly, but I mean they did just lose, so it's like it's not like he's a silver bullet. Out of 2 immunity challenges, he's brought them 1 victory. And again, not even full victory, right? He's kept them out of last place once. I'm not sure where they finished last week. So like that whole, you need me or we're going to lose. It's like, well, we lost with you. So there's that. And again, in doing so, we got a glimpse of kind of how your competitive vibe is. And those things can easily be destructive anyway. Somebody who just flips out when things get difficult. Like the last football type we had just last season was the same way, and his tribe lost a lot. So like, I'm not I'm not really worried about that. If it's tribe strength you're worried about, like I think Gabe, Kyle, and Tiyana both all look like they're reasonably athletic people. Especially there's never really an abundance of strength in Survivor anymore.
Right.
So that doesn't really carry a lot of weight for me. I'm not too worried about it. So no, mostly TK showed that he was going to be a capital A, capital P problem. Deal with that now. You know,
I mean, last week, the Yellow Tribe didn't deal with their problem. So, it'll be interesting to see how this compares.
Yeah. And then, so where is she right now? I mean, she kind of doesn't have an alliance, but she doesn't know that is the other thing we need to know about. Is that, for all we know, everything that we were shown, so there's no reason to assume otherwise, she is unaware of the Gabe, Carolyn, and Sue situation. I think she looked pretty shocked when he played an idol. I think she thought that he was going to be voting with the guys as she was party to those discussions. So, within her story, within her decision making, you have to take that into account. Now, obviously, then it's like, well, it's not great that she was fooled by Gabe, somebody we might not think highly of, but we can get into that later. I think the decision based on the evidence she had is like, oh man, I think working with TK is going to be a lot, and I don't need that. Some of it probably emotionally. She was pretty pissed off the way that he, reacted, especially in response to what she was saying.
Yeah, but Andy, in fairness to him, he hates losing. He's the only person that feels that way. Everyone else totally cool with it. He is a guy that hates losing, which is rare. You don't find that a lot.
Yeah, and then I love in the little meeting that Kyle engineers that this is helping TK put out fires. No, none of the sort. He just is talking right at her and how it goes. So fuck. So I think it was the right decision, and more importantly, I'm so glad she did it. I was so ready for TK to leave.
Yeah, I think a key, like I already mentioned, you have to let everyone know that you hate losing because that really distinguishes you from every other Survivor player. So I appreciate that he did that. I think another great strategy is after a loss, you come in and you tell everybody that you're going to decide how things are going to go because you can take control and you can lead them to victory. People love that shit. So, stellar performance by TK. I can't possibly see why anyone would have been rubbed the wrong way by that and thus voted him out. So just bang up job by him.
Honestly, I've seen enough now, and some of this obviously is recency from this episode and last season. If you get somebody who just cannot take one fucking loss, they're not for this game. If the losses are going to happen, some of this shit is random. I understand losing it if we've lost 3 in a row. Again, you should probably try to lock that up and be in control of, but these are high emotion situations, starving. I can understand a bit of a blow up and frustration, right? Everybody should be frustrated if you're continually losing. But one loss and it's that's the wit. I'm not for this. And I was well, then you're not for this. Because again, it's more about how you can roll with the punches rather than avoid every punch.
Well, speaking of avoiding punches, Gabe did play his idol, as you mentioned. And do you feel like that was the right thing to do at the very first vote that his tribe went to?
Yeah, and to clarify for everybody, Gabe had an idol worth he could have used at 3 tribal councils, whereas the other 2 are 1 tribal council idol. So we'll get into that too. I'll be honest, when he first did it, I'm like, huh? And hey, maybe he's just worried the plans are falling through. But then before the vote finished, before Jeff revealed the result, I paused it. I'm like, oh, okay, I figured out what he did.
Right.
Why he did this. He did this almost certainly to avoid any consequences should it go to rocks. He doesn't know that Tiyana is going to vote for TK. That's the hope. He has no confirmation. For one, how can you ever have confirmation? For 2, he is not involved in the discussions with Tiyana at all. He very purposely by his own decision making. He did not want her to know that he was in on this. So, for all he knows, it's him, Caroline, and Sue against Kyle, Tiyana, and TK. That's a possibility. How it would work is if he had played his idol, which he did, both he and Sue would be immune then. So protecting himself against, a rock draw situation seems like a pretty good and valid reason to play a pretty temporary idol anyway.
And
What do you think?
let's clarify there that he's protecting himself in the instance where after a revote, they were still tied.
Yes, correct.
Right. Because the idea, which he kind of touched on earlier, was that if they tied, he felt that they would have the higher ground where they could convince Tiyana. They'd have some leverage and they'd say, like, look, Tiyana, we're going to stay. We will go to rocks. You need to be the one that flips. Now, I think this kind of works into why he played the idol, because if he doesn't play the idol, it's a roughly 50-50 split on who might go home on a rock draw, right? Now that he's played the idol, it's 2/3 your side, 1/3 mine. Do you want to play with those odds? So I understand it. Is it the absolute most efficient way to play an immunity idol? Not necessarily, but at the same time, you've gotten some use out of that idol, right? Whether, like, ultimately it didn't end up needing to be used that way, or it didn't matter, but there was at least some rationale for using it, and it's much better than just sitting on it and not making any use of it.
Yeah, imagine they'd gone to rocks and he went home. Yeah, it'd be just another person sitting on an idol. Now, it does lead to, like, well, if he's just concerned about that, why not just play it for Sue? It would be easier. But here's the thing. This way, he's immune. And let's talk again. What if everything's wrong and they're just voting for Gabe? Right?
Exactly.
So this way, he's done the most important thing, and that's he's protected Gabe.
Yes. And that alone, that's why I support it, right? Like, all that matters is advancing yourself in the game. And yes, it would have been nice if you canceled out all the Sue votes, but ultimately, if all the votes are for Sue anyway, you're going to get to that tie situation. And then again, you have to leverage. So either way, like, I think his play is probably better because it's going to keep him safe, which is the thing that he should care the most about.
Yeah. And then there's some ancillary benefits that, like, if he detected or was told that the vibes got bad because of the time he was gone looking for that idol. And I get a sense of that when TK pulls him aside and tells him that, like, tries to coach him up on how to play the game. Now that, people worried about you because you have an idol, that's gone. Now, the vibes they have that you're like somebody who's a treacherous idol finder, those aren't gone. And frankly, he should spend tomorrow finding the idol again. But just like removing the doubt around whether he has something or not, there's some possible intrinsic value, especially now that he's in the kind of ally buying stage. He used the idol also to like get Caroline on his side to secure Sue. At that point, it's not a secret anymore, so it's also good to play. So now I'm like, I'm fine with everything he did. I think it some of it shows a little bit of big braininess. I think he's definitely that kind of player. But it was, again, playing idols is better than not playing idols.
Correct.
So, and again, the next two, he might be in the clear by surviving this vote. I don't know if that's true, but it's possible. So, yeah, it was a good idea for what it was.
And as you said, at the very least, he's well positioned now, right? Like, the idol kept him safe for this one, and having kept himself safe for this one probably keeps him safe for additional tribals should they go to them.
Yeah.
So ultimately, is it the most efficient and effective decision? Maybe not, but I think it's the right one.
Yeah, like, no points in fantasy, but still, there was a good logic once you've kind of figured it out.
Exactly.
That it was solid. Hey, so this gets back to kind of like what I was saying earlier about, like, the vibes I'm getting from the season so far based on these two episodes. And it's, again, what we just talked about, TK and Gabe. Do all the dudes on this season suck, or does it just seem that way? Because it kind of feels like they all suck.
I mean, most of them, at the very least.
That's probably more accurate. Keyshawn seems cool.
I was just gonna say, like, he's the one that I'm like, oh yeah, he seems like a decent enough guy. And honestly, like, Kyle, he bores me as television.
Yes.
Like, I'm not interested in watching him on TV, but he seems okay.
Yeah, he seems like a decent dude, which is a bar that a lot of these guys aren't clearing.
Right.
He also seems like he's got nothing to offer.
Yes.
And then Soul, we just don't fucking know, right? Like, either way, could be kind of similar to Kyle, but could be just like, we're not getting much out of Lavo other than One Direction.
Right.
But the rest are just the worst. And that's what makes me really concerned about this season is the only personalities that are really standing out for me are the ones I don't like.
I mean, maybe this is a season for the ladies and the non-binaries to dominate.
Sure.
You never know.
They are also not really popping off because of the energy is going to all these douchey guys. So, yeah, now that's why in the end, this episode ends up on the positive ledger because we got rid of one of them pretty much seemingly, at least storytelling wise, if not just genuinely, because of his douchiness. Like, that's what doomed TK, at least in the story we got. And frankly, again, he might have been doomed by in a different way, but like Tiyana definitely flipped on him because he was being an asshole. It could be strategic in that, his being an asshole revealed what kind of, future partner he would be. But yeah, it was a great, like, hoisted on your own petard edit. I love those. I was excited that we got it because often at this point you'd get that, but then it's like, but we got to keep him for tried strength. Let's get rid of the old lady. But it was like every time we visit with a different tribe, it's like, all right, let's see what the, somewhat useless, egotistical guy has to say.
Yeah, I mean, I get your point in that a lot of these guys I'm just not interested in seeing more of. And I think we've gotten more than enough Rome already. Although, spoiler alert, I do have a point that I want to talk about with Rome. And it might, might work into our top 3 this week. We'll see. But yeah, overall, I mean, even the guys that don't seem to suck, like Kyle, like, do I want to see more of Kyle? No, he's like, oh, he seems fine, but it's nothing that's drawing me back in. And
this we get it set up like TK versus Gabe. Gabe sucks too.
Yes.
Gabe is all his like a wounded bird analogy. Like, fuck you, dude. I can support some of the strategy you were talking about. I don't think it's grade A because the social part of the strategy is kind of important, and I don't think he's all that good at it. I think he's worked it enough because Sue is like, cool, somebody wants to ally me instead of me being the first target. Caroline, I don't think was feeling his vibe at all, but it's like, well, at least it's something after getting, he had to really work at that. So it's like, yay, he wins. I don't like that guy. So it's like, it was kind of a battle of douchebags.
Well,
I'd say TK seemed like the bigger one, but that could just all be the facet of the edit that he was the loser.
And this is also the thing where I feel for Caroline because you only get so many people in your initial tribe, right? When you have 6 people to work with, you don't have a ton of options. She's found one person that she wants to work with, and then look at her other options, like, I can see why she maybe wouldn't be excited about any of her other options. So yeah, these things just happen sometimes, and you have to get out of that phase where you can hopefully find some other people to work with after a tribe swap or a merge. And I think that's the boat she's in.
Do Caroline and Kyle just seem like the most generic contestants that you can remember?
They absolutely do. They are.
I mean, I suppose the flip side of this is how many of the generic contestants do you remember?
Correct.
Because that's how I feel about them. Like, they just seem like, NPCs.
Well, I mean, they did the Paralympics fairly recently, and there were, I think, 2 survivors that competed in the Paralympics and like did
Correct.
well, maybe. And I was like, who are they again? They just didn't totally register to me. And then I was reminded who one was, and then I watched the like post-race interview with the other, and I'm like, oh, that guy. So
yeah, I mean that speaks a bit more to your terrible memory, but
yeah, true.
Like, yeah, these 2 just seem so like, yeah, they seem fine,
right?
I don't know, you'd meet them and forget them, it's like that's what like a con man wants you to do, be really, people have warm feelings for you and then forget you the minute they're not talking to you. That's 2/3 of this tribe, man, or
But
1/3, 1/3. That's how the math works.
Yeah, but it's just surprising, when like those people got cast for Survivor. Like, what was it that made them pop for casting, right? Like, what happened in those videos or the casting interviews where they're like, yes, Kyle, you've got it. Whatever it is, you've got it. Because, I mean, maybe it's just not coming across when you put a camera on him.
Yeah, and again, benefit of the doubt for them. If the story keeps getting dominated by jerks, maybe then it is harder for them to pop off, and there will be some time. But yeah, so that's two dudes that like just annoyed me, TK and Gabe. And then we go over to Gata, and like Andy's still fucking around, and like he wasn't as bad this episode because like he didn't fall apart emotionally. Maybe just because they won, but like that dude's weird, right?
So weird. Also, just, I mean, I'm not gonna diagnose from a heavily edited TV show, but like, just bizarre given the edit that we got, that he's having this conversation with Sam and laying there with no one around him for just a few moments, like just immediately triggers this like, oh my God, they all hate me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like not seeming like to appreciate instead of, and again, edit and all that. We maybe
Sure.
just said it and we didn't see it, but like they're pretty blatant, patronizing cheering of him opening the coconut.
Yeah.
Like I would have been like, fuck the hell off, guys. And maybe you have to take it because you're the one who made such a big deal out of there. It's like, well, I guess I brought this on myself, but it was embarrassing to watch.
I mean, it should be embarrassing, but I don't know that registered for him in that way. Maybe he's like, finally, I got the thing that I wanted. And yeah, it again speaks to why, like, he's just an odd guy, and not odd in the way that a lot of Survivors have been that I've enjoyed watching. Just weird. And
yeah, just on a different wavelength, and again, no diagnosing on that. But like he is an AI guy, so yeah, he just doesn't quite understand the human interactions, and maybe that's not the space he wants to be in. Because it's like, absolutely, you should take off and try to find something when you're left alone. But that's not how he frames it for us. He tells us that he started feeling a little weird and all that, and I got to go do something. Just weird. I
also need to know what the logic is in waiting a few hours if you're ultimately willing to open the Beware Advantage. Like, why haven't you already made that calculation before finding it, right?
Yes.
Like, Beware Advantage is not a new thing. And before you're going off to search for it, presumably, and then maybe this is just me making wild assumptions here, but presumably you would know there's a possibility that what you will find is not a clue to the idol. You'd find in a Beware Advantage. And so maybe in your head, you've weighed whether or not you would take it. I don't see a scenario where you get to it and you're like, wow, this is a complete and total surprise to me. I shall leave it here and come back hours later after I've decided whether I want to open it or not.
And the whole, how could anyone find it? The same way you did, man.
Right. Well, it's already happened
These
once.
Kind of random. Yeah. These clearly aren't so hidden that it'd be impossible. Yeah, man. Like early into the history of the Beware Advantage, if somebody saw it and be like, you know what? No, that's totally understandable. But yeah, I agreed with you 100%. At this point, you should know that you're probably looking for Beware Advantage. And I'm not going to give him the benefit of the doubt that like, oh, maybe he's just not familiar with Survivor. Apparently, like, he's a RHAP patron. Like,
wow.
He's known in the fan community. I only know this because of our own fan community. So like, yeah, he knows that it's probably a Beware Advantage. So like, if you're not willing to take that chance, then don't look. That's the easy part. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said,
but if you're looking to find it, then like you've already made that commitment. You got to go through with it. And moreover than this, you, Andy, guy who was crying on the floor at the challenge, so worried that you were going to get voted out. You have to take it. How could your vote be more valuable than immunity for you specifically?
It's mind-boggling. I genuinely don't know what the logic could have been for like, oh, I'll leave it there and think it over. What had no thinking occurred since that last tribal council or even prior to it. Just stunning. I want some form of explanation for it. I don't think that it will be like a satisfactory explanation for it. I just think I want one.
Yeah, and I gotta say that the most likely explanation is that Sam has done a great job snowing Andy over to the point where, like, the lines that we hear Andy regurgitate, that like, oh no, I better not, like, my vote is going to be really important because he feels like he's in with Sam. And it's like, you would think that's just something he's saying to Sam to try and ingratiate him, but I kind of feel like he believed it. That like, I don't want to do anything to upset the apple cart. Which again, though, if you believe that, then don't look.
Right. Exactly. This was a half measure, Andy. And we don't support half measures.
Yeah. Or don't look alone. Go look with Sam and then let him take it. And then again, that would be such a terrible beta move, but it would at least make more sense than what he does.
I mean, at the very least, in that scenario, he's like building a connection, right? A more solid connection.
Yeah. There's at least some benefit out of that than what ends up happening.
Well,
asterisks. Because what ends up happening, of course, is Sam finds the idol. And then when Andy goes and tells him that, like, I had found it and now it's gone, that actually did buy him some goodwill with Sam. But before we get into that, continuing on Do All the Dudes Suck this season, fuck, I cannot stand Sam.
Okay, good. Because, I mean, to me, he just feels like so TikTok. Like he's constantly putting on just this act for the camera. And I can't fucking stand that.
He's giving vibes of somebody that's going to walk up to you on the street with like just this is tiny little lapel mic and talk to you like blah, 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 blah. And then which like I see enough of that largely because my kids watch. I mean, my oldest watches actual TikTok. My youngest watches TikToks from a month ago or whatever on YouTube, and it's just like, is this what public life is now?
Yes.
That at any point some fucking loser, Gen Zer or younger, will walk up to me and, hey, what's your thoughts? It's like, I'm not here for your content. How about those thoughts?
Yeah, I'm trying to shop at Home Depot. Leave me alone.
Yeah, like it was probably bad enough that Man on the Street segments when they were just like limited to like the Tonight Show or the Daily Show, but now it's just the barrier for entry is just any sad putz with a backwards hat. In our day, they were wearing puka shells. And like, don't you feel embarrassed that you're holding this tiny little fucking mic and you're trying to pretend you're a reporter? I think it's probably they don't understand what the true reference of what you're supposed to be holding, much like they don't know the iconography of like, saving things as a floppy disk. But it's just like, and I don't live in a center like that, so maybe it's just if you live in certain places, but it just feels like everywhere it's up to John Q. Public to provide content for these people's channels. And we used to be in a society, is what I'm saying.
It's just,
we used to be a proper society.
It is weird, right? I mean, luckily, I have not encountered these in the wild. And like, I go to some fairly major cities. I'm adjacent to some. So, like, I just haven't, maybe I'm not hanging out in the places where I'm likely to get assaulted by these people with their little lapel microphones. But also it could just be that I don't have the vibe of someone that you would want to approach with your tiny little lapel microphone and ask stupid questions to. That could be it. I don't know. But I agree with you. It's just like, he strikes me as one of those kind of guys, or like, if not that, then he's one of those people that like makes the videos where he'll like explain something to you in like a mildly condescending way. Just it's those sort of vibes. Like I'm not in on Sam.
Yeah, because everything all his confessionals, highlighted by the fact that they have him like leaning in kind of like the folds of a tree or whatever. Just condescension drips from him.
Yes.
And I'm somebody who doesn't always dislike arrogance, right? But I don't think I'm ever going to like it from him because he's missing the entertaining element of it. He is not entertaining at all, He's clearly a local football reporter. Like, those are kind of the vibes too. Just not that funny or smart. I think his gameplay, I can defend. Like, I think he did a lot of good things, but I don't like him, and I don't want to watch him.
Right.
Other than to watch him lose. And that's the one thing, like sometimes these negative characters can give you that positive, right? That it'll be fun to see them fail. It just is, I'm worried that we're getting a critical mass.
Yeah. I don't know. Seeing him lose, it has to be in a specific way that's going to make it enjoyable for me. And, is that way going to happen? I don't know.
It feels like it's going to at least be post-merge at this point. I think he is very secure in where he is. For one, he has immunity for one tribal council. For two, I think Sierra is all in on Sam. And then, if they keep Andy around, that's another benefit for Sam. So it's like I think he's playing well for the position he's in. I just don't like him.
Agreed.
But yeah, let's talk about him finding the idol. So he decided to just keep it the one-time use idol. What do you think of that?
I mean, similarly, I think fine. I think he actually could have taken the risk to get a 3-vote idol, but all the same, I can understand in a 5-person tribe not wanting to lose your vote, and also having that immunity for the next tribal council. It's not a bad play. I mean, that's probably the way I would have leaned anyway.
Yeah, see, from him, I support it. It's fine. But yeah, definitely, I think he was insulated enough that, like, if he doesn't have his idol, whatever, the other 3 ladies vote out Andy, it's not a big deal, right? If he doesn't have his vote. But what I did like about what he did with the idol, and why I have to give him, like, begrudging respect for the way he played this episode, is once the cover was blown about finding the Beware advantage because he was with Anika, I liked that he made individual searches with each of the women so that there's no secrets involved. He can't get burned for that. He anticipated exactly what would happen with Anika and Rachel, headed that off, and then also make sure. So, like, all of them now feel like, oh, well, Sam trusts me because, and it's kind of a fun facet of this thing is that he did have like 3 different individual parts work with him. And I think maybe at that point, now that he's like, well, it's touching everybody knows. How about I just eliminate any of the nervous or worry and just so everybody can know at the end, I have a one-time use idol. So Anika and Rachel aren't sitting there worried, oh, well, Sam has all this power. They'd be like, oh, that's not that much power. So actually, now that I'm talking all that loud, I actually really support him just taking the 1 because the 3 isn't powerful enough to make it worth the kind of the negative connotation of, oh, maybe we need to worry about Sam. I think he handled all of that really well.
And I agree with you. I actually think the juxtaposition of him saying like, oh no, I got to go tell Rachel because I'm sure that she's going to tell Rachel too. And then seeing that on screen, like, I think that solidified. Yeah, he was doing the right thing in that scenario. So yeah.
So it's like, I think so far he looks like he's a good Survivor player. I just don't enjoy his presence on my television.
Yeah. I mean,
let's get to the other shitty dude.
I mean, honestly, the Sam thing strikes me as pretty similar to the Gabe thing where it's like, I guess he's playing okay, but I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah.
So
and I think he's playing better than Gabe because he has actual allies and stuff.
Agreed.
Seem enthusiastic about it.
Well, let's talk about the person who's playing worse than both of them.
Yes.
So Rome also managed to find that Beware advantage and just, I guess at some point was like, aha, I had this revelation wherein I should share this information with someone else to build trust. That would be great for me, Rome, the Survivor player. And so he chooses Teeny. Ultimately, first of all, do you think that was the right decision for him to pick Teeny?
I don't think it was the right decision to pick anyone. You'd already gone to lengths to have some kind of secrecy about it. What at least see it through and then decide what you're sharing, right? For 2, it's like, well, I just don't know who he has to choose from. Nobody likes him. You know?
And there is my answer, which is like, sure, Teeny's a perfectly valid option because all of your options are terrible and none of them want to work with you. So if you picked any of them, you've chosen incorrectly. So yeah, I did enjoy the scene of him being like, I can trust Teeny. And then immediately oh no, I don't feel like I can trust Teeny because the very first thing she does is share that information and take someone to show them the actual box. Not just like share the information, but gets caught red-handed showing the other person like, here's the box, here's the whole idol clue, we can read it together. And then Rome just comes stumbling upon them, like walking right up like, hey guys, what's up?
Yeah, and I think credit to him, because we're not going to do a lot of that. He played that situation well. He didn't like flip out in the moment. Because caught them red-handed. That was pretty funny. At first I was like, oh, she's actually going to actually be able to see the clue, and then whoop, 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 whoop.
Yep.
Like, there he is. Yep. That's tough. That's a tough spot.
It
and
is.
then CD's like, oh, but I'm really good at lying. I don't know if Rome bought it.
Yeah.
What is he going to do? He doesn't have any other options.
Right. And I don't know that there is a way to like diplomatically smooth that situation out. Like, I think you just got caught. And, about all you can do is own up to it and be like, well, shit, I'm going to bring this guy in. Should have consulted with you, which is sort of what she did, or they did. Sorry. But yeah, it was not great. Surely there had to have been another way that you could have gone to look for that without possibility of being snuck upon.
Yeah. And then I'll also give Rome credit for this. Yes. Take the single-use one.
Yep.
No one needs it more than you.
Yep.
If it made it to 3, you still got to play it the first time.
Right.
And then even more so, it's like, well, these 2 people are here watching you do it. So it's like, okay, I'm immune. And that actually could pay off really good for him. Everybody now knows that he, and I guess officially only Teeny and Keyshawn know, but everybody will know. We got to come up with a plan B, and maybe that'll like form cracks that a player could use, even one that is at the bottom right now, because they're not going to vote for Rome now because they know they can't. And they can't even take the risk. It's like, well, let's vote for him anyway. Like the idol expires. He's going to play it. I mean, maybe you can big brain it. And it's like, I'm really feeling, and I bet they'll try. I'm feeling insecure. Can you play it for me? But they have to operate as though plan A, voting for Rome, is dead. Now what's plan B? And because Rome is going to be around, we should include him in it. Now, that's all a different player, I think, could exploit that and work with it and then maybe get some life in this game. I don't know that Rome can.
Well, I think the interesting thing...
I bet Rome thinks he can.
Of course. You think he lacks confidence? We'll get into the confidence that he has in a bit. I think the interesting thing for me is going to be how Teeny and Keyshawn handle this, because they now know, right? Let's just assume at this point the rest of their tribe does not know. So they know that he is going to play this idol at the next tribal council. And should they go to that tribal council, they might be the only ones with that information aside from Rome. And so they could theoretically convince, figure out who among the other, let's see, 1, 2, 3 players, just making sure, will be their target, and then just convince everybody, oh, no, we're going to vote for Rome. We just have to convince him to not play his shot in the dark, blah, blah, blah. And then, they could kind of engineer the vote to go the way that they want to without that person being worried that they're the secondary target. But we'll see if that happens. I don't know if they're that level of player.
Yeah. Oh, and they could also do that without revealing because they could just go ahead and vote for Rome as well. So without revealing any of their preferences within the vote. So there's definitely ways that Keyshawn and Teeny can play this. For Rome, it's just play the idol. But I think it's to his benefit, actually, that at least some people know. In fact, he should probably tell other people. He should tell everyone, hey guys, I have this one-time use idol. And then again, see what happens.
Yes.
See if that causes splits. I don't know that he will do that. But actually, that one could be, because in doing so, Rome gets to brag about himself, and that's like his favorite thing.
It truly is. And that is the best move for him. If that doesn't happen, because I don't know that he is the most optimal of Survivor players, then it's interesting to see what Teeny and Keyshawn do.
So yeah, like he is another dude that sucks. Now I'll say, in like the difference between him and Sam and Gabe and TK and Andy, he's fun. His suckingness is fun.
Did you know that he debated going to the NBA, Andy? As though it's just
Me too.
Yeah, it's just a career choice you could pick, but he chose not to.
That's right. It was between the NBA and going to high school, or gaming. And he's not even he's not even a professional game or himself.
I mean,
he just talks about it.
Well, see, the other career path is he could have been like a major rapper.
That was amazing.
I mean,
just for one to sing it at all, and then trying to launch into a verse, and everyone's like,
no bars,
nothing rhymed there.
No bars whatsoever.
Not at all. He lost it within one. And it's like, okay, so you've written one lyric in your life and you couldn't remember it? Is that what's going on here? Chris Noble would never.
It was fun to watch. Also, because this is a situation where I don't have to endure being around him. I can watch other people suffer through being around him, and that's great.
No, we get the quick edited, like, "Hey man, I'm the best fire maker ever. My record's 16 seconds." Cut to him stewing on the log while Keyshawn does it. It's so yeah, no, especially because everybody knows on his tribe that he's full of shit. Like he hasn't been thus imbued with any level of power because it's like, well, we got he's useful in other ways, so we got to take it. It's fun, like, but it's just like. And yeah, maybe that's it. All of these shitty men, it's like they're each snowflakes in their own way. It's unique, but I don't think so. I think there's actually some crossover between, like, say, Sam and Gabe's suckiness.
Yeah.
But Rome's is unique. He will be fun, and he will not be long for this game, probably, but he'll definitely be at least longer than he would have been.
Yeah. Also, I feel like you can almost guarantee that he will not see his exit coming, right? Like he is going to be
100%.
With that like supreme level of confidence that he's running this game, and it's gonna hit him, and it's gonna be funny.
Oh, frankly, like if his idol was good for more than one tribal council, he would almost certainly go home with it in his pocket.
Absolutely, yes. So
I feel pretty confident in saying that he will play it the one chance he gets. Last season, I don't know that I could say that. But this season, I feel like, yes, he will play it because if for no other reason than to show, maybe he'll be like, I know I don't need this, but, and again, if he tells everybody he has it, then it would be true. But yeah, at least to show people, see how good I am. And frankly, he probably has it on his Survivor bucket list, play an idol. Well, congratulations, Rome. He's a funny guy.
yes.
Not intentionally.
Right.
He'll tell us next week that he's the funniest and was almost a professional comedian.
Yeah.
But it's more like, oh, dude.
Yeah, his other.
He's going to be the next person on the Survivor podcast, or we should probably show him some respect as a fellow member of the industry because he's done podcasts.
Oh yeah. Really, like, of all the things to aspire to, being the one that Probst picks for his podcast. Sure, great, enjoy.
Before we move on from the shitty dude section, I should continue the gimmick of comments from our website about Andy, the ones that really stood out this
Oh
week.
yes, please.
Okay, so we had, and frankly, I saw you guys. Some people, you were clearly like going for it, and the trick is you got to find that balance. Like I know I kind of set you free on that, but you got to make it feel like you don't want it that much. It's just a trick. So Ben Folds fan in 3D said Andy is definitely better than Banu. Thank you for that. That was nice. And Bad Player 91. Okay, maybe keeping Andy was worth it for us. This is so fun. That one might go on our the message board on the homepage or something. That seems almost like an endorsement.
Hey, speaking of endorsements, you found a review of our podcast. Is it like, what was it, on Spotify or something?
Spotify. Apparently, you can leave comments or reviews. I didn't even know.
Listen, if you were debating leaving us a review, I don't ultimately care if you do or not. I don't care if it is 1 star, 5 stars. It doesn't matter to me. But what I do care about is when it's funny. And someone left us one that said that listening to this podcast, I'm going to misquote it here because I don't have it in front of me, but listening to this podcast is like hearing your boomer uncle at Thanksgiving talk about how good things used to be. I loved it. It was so good.
Chef's kiss. Perfect.
Yes.
Got us. Boom. Nailed it. I wonder what season that was about.
I have no idea.
Any of them.
Yeah. I remember
All
we
right,
used to get like some good ones on like iTunes back in the day. They were like, these guys are clearly so jealous of like Rob and Steven.
Rob,
Yeah. So
I
great.
think nothing could ever top the one that went off on us for suggesting that we are racist, for saying that that one tiny dude it was poorly selected for jumping.
Yeah.
Adam.
Yeah.
In 40. When we kept going off, it's like, maybe you shouldn't have chosen. Maybe there's a reason. And they went to race. And no, not at all. That the vertical height. So that was fantastic.
And you listened back to it too to be like, did I say it? No, you were very specific in that he is shorter and also not super athletic. So
well, and the choices were him, Denise, and Parvati. It's like, you guys kind of missed a key element to the thing up at high. You might want somebody who can reach.
Right.
Anyway, but yeah, I love that they went to what are you saying, white man can't jump? It's like, well, okay. So yeah, there's a lot of people I'm rooting against. Is there anybody you're rooting for yet?
I think similarly to last week, there are a few people that I find okay. No one is still jumping out at me as a potential star. I think there are some people I'm interested in seeing a little more of to see if like maybe there's something there, like Teeny, Kishan, Annika. She's still giving me like some young Shireen vibes, which all right, I'll see what's there.
See, she just gave me young vibes, and that's fucking boomer. And like when she's just speaking in the slang of her generation.
Oh, that it's giving.
Like, yeah. And I'm just like, like, and again, I'm trying, like, I shouldn't resent it. I'm old. There's 2 generations past me that are all adults now, but it's just like, I didn't like hearing it. It's like, get off my lawn,
Sure. I mean, I'm fine with it. And then,
I'm fine with it, but then it's still just like, she's not a serious person. Again, that's more probably me and my stuff.
These are not serious people.
Yeah. It was just,
yeah, I mean, I know and
actually probably where it came from is that it's like it's giving, for one, and the apps. Again, these are all just like young adults' lives, I understand. But when people, it's like you could have voted them out, though, is the thing. So like you sitting here complaining that Andy's giving toxic, clingy boyfriends, like, well, yeah, that's why you should have voted him out last week. Now I don't want to hear you complain about it. You made your choice.
Yeah.
You didn't know that last week? I feel like you should have. That's probably why I turned it off. But frankly, probably the main reason is she was talking like a Gen Zer and like I'm old.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Just so the youth that are listening, well done. Just so the youth that are listening know that I'm not on board with that take. Like I heartily embrace your slang and your culture and your skibbities and whatnots.
Yeah, Andy is Skibbity, Ohio. Right?
Oh my God, I couldn't have said it better myself.
That's another one you could clip.
All right. And the only other like takeaway I had that, with Caroline, like I know all the guys would say she's mighty fine, but mighty fine, that only got you somewhere half the time. So that's roughly my review of the people that I'm looking at. I just don't
have enough evidence to see if she's the reason for that word yet.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
We have to wait and see.
For me, like last week, again, this week, like Rachel seems good. Like she seems somebody I could root for. Again, not dynamic, but let's talk about the rice.
Oh, yeah, that's a winner. Like, I mean, so this is a point that I wanted to make too. And because we've kind of touched on this in the past where like the operating principle you should have is that you do shit. Don't ask for shit. Don't ask if it's okay. Do it. And see what happens, which is exactly what Rachel did here. She was told to dump out the rice, but there was essentially zero other consequence, right? Like even Probst, I think, had some level of respect that she tried it, right? And that should be how you play the game. You should just try the shit. If it doesn't work, fine, but you tried it and put it in the hands of Probst or whomever to tell you, nah, you can't do that.
Yeah, no, I liked it. Frankly, for us viewers, I'm sure many times we're like, why don't they just eat that though? So yeah, it answered the question for us. I'm also fine that Jeff didn't allow it. But I do hope like a consequence that comes from this. It's like maybe stop using food as part of the challenge.
It did feel to me very American to be like, hey, I know you guys are starving, but throw that rice away.
Yeah.
Like it's giving America, as the kids might say.
Yeah, it's in total late stage capitalist vibes.
Yeah, those are the ones.
Yeah, so I like her so far, and Tiyana looked it seemed interesting. Again, not dynamic because most of that energy was going to TK, but I'm in for a bit there. But again, like rooting is probably a little strong for anybody just yet. So and it's 2 episodes, that's okay.
Yeah,
but it's mildly concerning that like the only like real opinion, like strong opinions I have on any of these characters is that I don't like 4 of them.
Well, you know what you are going to have strong opinions on, Andy. As I was watching this episode, we've done our top 3 gimmick. We've decided to do it again this season, and I came across one that I was like, yes, this is it. You're going to be passionate about this project, and I know that you are, and I'm also going to be excited for it. And it came from Rome, who we talked about earlier. Just, he could have been the NBA player. He could have also been a rapper. And so what I wanted for us to do this week is the top 3 hip hop / NBA crossovers. Now, I'm defining this broadly. So, whatever you want to do with that, you can do. But yeah, that's the category we're working with this week.
Yeah, no, it's important to realize he didn't actually have to choose. You can do both.
Yes.
Although I suppose he did choose to do neither. So top 3 hip hop, rap, hip hop and NBA or just basketball. Let's go NBA. My answer is the same.
Yep.
Crossovers. Number 3, I'm going to go with Master P, who I don't know if people know this, but he played an NBA preseason game for the Charlotte Hornets. They had him in training camp and everything. They said Percy Miller is what it was. I don't think he was ever near close to getting on the team. It was kind of a stunt. But that's my number 3 is Master P.
So
he made him say,
He did. They didn't see the tank creeping. For me, I'm gonna cheat slightly, but this is a tie in number 3, and only because it's roughly similar in terms of the level of crossover. And crossover, very specific word there. Nick Van Exel's mention in the song "Crazy in Love," and then also the DeRozan shout out in "Not Like Us." There we go.
Yeah, which like weird enough way of saying it that the first times I was here was like, is that D Rose? But then like you see the video, it's like, oh no, that makes more sense because also does. The reference. Yes.
But it's just, for me, it strikes me as like, wow, that's an odd level of NBA star to mention, right? Like these are not the all-time greats. They are, very good basketball players at the NBA level, but just not the types that you expect to hear called out in a relatively famous rap song.
Yeah, and like that's why like it's actually a really genius reference in Not Like Us, because it's a guy who was representing the Toronto Raptors, who is a Cali guy. It all makes sense. I don't know that you know this, but I think Nick Van Exel did a rap song back in the day. Back when a lot of NBA players were trying to be rappers.
Oh, I mean, that might come up later in this list.
Oh,
not necessarily Nick Van Exel, to be clear, but the fact that that NBA players used to try to become rappers.
Yes.
But
not for my number 2. My number 2, I'm gonna go with the Toronto Raptors official fan embassy, whatever his stupid title is. That'd be Drake. And all of Drake's like just kind of cringy fanism, the way that like he acts like he's on the team. He got a ring actually when the Raptors won. They gave him a ring. He's got those 2 seats. Probably the nadir of all of this was when he like spent a day with the Kentucky Wildcats, and he got to wear like their full warm-ups and like go through warm-up with them and like sit in on their like film session. And it's like he really thinks he's on the team, doesn't he?
It's embarrassing. So mine is the crossover appeal of a young Shaquille O'Neal who he had his own entire album. I actually listened to that shit when I was a kid, and
my friend, pluralize that.
Did you own it?
It's not album, it's album.
Oh, excuse me. I am not familiar with the entire discography. I realize the man's oeuvre is impressive. However, I specifically enjoyed the song where Shaq raps with Foo Schnickens. Like,
yes, that was his debut.
Yes.
And he was like an honorary member of the group as Shaq Fu.
Yes.
And then time passes, and it's hard to tell which is the more embarrassing thing, that Shaq had a rap career or that the Foo Schnickens did.
Yes. Neither really deserved. But, having said that, I guess the target demographic for that would be like kids under 10, because nailed it. I was listening to that shit. So there you go. That's my number 2.
I, at number 1, have Shaq, because I had not one, but 2 Shaq hip hop albums. He had one in 93 and he had one in 94. And you're saying under 10? No, my friend, I was a little older than that. I'm guessing.
Let's
that's
see.
high school. That's high school. Was he a good rapper? No. But what ended up happening, why I bought it, well, first off, is I was just really irresponsible with my money. I was buying hip-hop CDs like every other week. Yeah, as long as my allowance could pull up to get it. Sometimes my parents didn't talk enough, so I just get allowance from both of them. And then I'm at the store buying CDs, and it's like eventually it was time to get the Shaq one. So what happened was that, was he good? No. But a lot of rappers wanted to hang out with him. Right? Not just the Foo Schnickens. And like producers, because they're like, maybe I'll get tickets to games or something. So like he's got songs with Fife, he's got songs with the RZA, Warren G, EPMD, well, not EPM, Eric Sermon, they'd broken up by that. Redman, like Keith Murray. So it's like, there's some good verses here. I'm sure he's not writing all his own stuff, but very, very, very plodding and mechanical, kind of like himself in the Post.
Yeah.
I know that and maybe we haven't hit on your number 1. Like I've heard that like Damian Lillard is actually a good rapper as Dame Dollar, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm not listening. You know. If you go to NCAA, like Flo J. Johnson with LSU, she is apparently a really good rapper. Again, I'm an old man, I'm not listening. So for me, the number 1 has to be Shaq.
Yeah. So mine, again, this is very me specific. Okay. Tyler Harrow having a whole rap song named after him by Jack Harlow. I love that idiot. And I specifically mean Tyler. I guess it could apply to Jack. No, it doesn't. I don't love him. Just the fact that the song, I don't even know how much of it is actually about Tyler Harrow, but he's in the video for it. Tyler Harrow is he's living his best life. I'm just so happy for that kid. I mean, he's just making millions. He's not the brightest bulb, and he's just doing things with his life, and it makes me happy. So Tyler Harrow is my number 1.
That guy's always in trade rumors because he's like the contract that you guys could
of course
lose in order to get
Sure.
somebody that's paid a lot. And I just I wonder if like that poor kid was ever traded to like a Minnesota, Utah, Milwaukee. You think like he'll just retire? Like it's just like I can't leave Miami and go back. Milwaukee, I guess, would be back. He's from Wisconsin, but if he just went to one of those areas, just like his light would die.
Yeah. I mean, like maybe if he went to like New York.
Like other swagged out cities, he would love it in Houston, or something like that. But like, yeah, if he went to like Utah or Portland, again, the cities you'd think otherwise he would fit the profile for, but he himself so does not fit the profile for.
Yes.
Can't go back.
Yeah. It's just, anyway, Tyler Harrow, very much enjoy that dummy. He's great.
Okay. Over under on people actually responding to this bit amongst our audience. I'm setting it at 2. What do you think?
Yeah,
I was taking the over or the under.
I was going to set it at 3 and take the under. So 2 makes it a little dicier. So yeah,
it's because I mean, when we do NBA lists, just so much not responses, and then when we do hip hop, still not a lot. So put those two great tastes together, and all right, fans, let's see it. Prove us wrong. Hit us up on our website in comments. You can send us fan mail. We did get another Tribe Called Quest list in fan mail. We got that one.
We did.
Real quick, some people might have been expecting, we had a Hank Williams reference in this episode. And if we were following last year's rules, that definitely in the top 3. Couple things there. One, you did not have any kind of Hank Williams top 3 to go with. And for 2, this season, we're going to try to be a little more esoteric. But I wanted to do a Hank Williams list real quick. So ranking Hank Williams, let's go number 3. I'm going to go Junior. I mean, how are you ready for some football is iconic, but also he kind of sucks. He got kicked off that gig for saying some ultra Republican things that ironically in like today's day and age be kind of tame. Yeah, he compared like Obama to Hitler. But yeah, that would be like that wouldn't even make us blink.
No, now he'd be running for governor of North Carolina or something.
That's right. But I don't know if he could survive a primary with that kind of just mid conservatism right there. Number 2, I'm gonna go Hank Williams III, which I'm gonna just cop. I've never heard a song by this guy, but apparently he's kind of a little punk rock influenced for heavy metal, so that could be cool. At least higher enough to put him over Junior. And number 1, I'm gonna go Hank Williams Sr., who actually is pretty good. When I say I don't like country, I mean it. But then like Hank Williams Sr. would be one of those exceptions, like Johnny Cash, Dolly Parton, all that. Not that I listen to a lot, but I respect him because he's the old school, clinical depression for alcoholics country music that I can respect. So
cool.
That's my Hank Williams list.
All right. Yeah, I got nothing.
So yeah, anybody wants to share either Hank Williams, NBA, hip hop crossovers, anything like that, you can do that on our website. That's purplerockpodcast.com. You can send us fan mail through the link on this post. I believe the fantasy game's all set now. You can't, no more changes, right?
Nope, no more changes. We've got a little over 200 teams. Also, do you think we're going to get more Hank Williams lists or the NBA and hip hop ones?
Oh, definitely Hank Williams. And I actually do have 3 songs, but like they're the 3 most favorite songs. I don't go deep into the band's catalog or anything like that.
All right, I'm interested to see the outcome of this one. Anything else, Andy?
Hit some theme music.
This is the copyright-free outro to the Purple Rock Survivor podcast. Thanks for listening.